Let me describe something and see if it sounds familiar. You meet someone new. It feels different this time. They're kind, they're interested, they show up. And for a while it's good, really good. But then something shifts. Maybe they do something small. Nothing terrible, just something. And suddenly you're spiraling. You're convinced they're going to leave. Or you're convinced they're not who you thought. Or you pull away first because pulling away feels safer than being left behind. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're the one who always ends up with the unavailable person. The one who's hot and cold. The one who keeps you guessing. And you tell yourself this time will be different. But it never is. And after it ends, you sit there and ask yourself the same question you've asked 100 times. Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep ending up in the same relationship with a different face? You've called yourself broken. You've called yourself unlucky. You've called yourself bad at love. But what if the answer has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with your brain? The validation, making them feel seen. Let me name a few patterns I see all the time. See if one of them lives in you. Pattern 1. You're drawn to people who are unavailable, emotionally distant, already taken, pulling away, and you spend the entire relationship trying to earn their love, trying to be enough, so they'll finally choose you. Pattern 2. You attract people who need fixing. They're struggling, wounded, chaotic. And you pour everything into them, believing that if you love them hard enough, they'll become who you need them to be. Pattern 3. You find someone stable, kind, present, everything you said you wanted, and you feel bored, or trapped, or suffocated. So you leave, or you create distance, or you pick a fight until they leave. Pattern 4. The cycle of push and pull. You chase until they get close, then you run. They pull away, you chase again, over and over, like a dance you can't stop. Here's the thing about these patterns. They aren't random. They aren't bad luck. And they aren't a sign that you're unlovable. They are familiar. And to your brain, familiar, even painful familiar, feels safer than unknown. Your brain doesn't care if a relationship hurts. It cares if it's predictable, because predictable means you know how to survive it. The science, attachment plus neuroscience. To understand why you keep repeating the same relationship patterns, you have to understand something called attachment theory. It's not just psychology jargon, it's neuroscience. In your first years of life, your brain was literally shaped by how your caregivers responded to your needs. If they responded consistently, when you cried, they came. When you needed comfort, they gave it. Your brain learned, people are safe, I can trust, I can be close. If they were inconsistent, sometimes there, sometimes not, warm 1 minute, cold the next, your brain learned, people are unpredictable. I need to stay vigilant. I need to earn love. I can't relax. If they were absent, emotionally or physically, your brain learned, I can only rely on myself. Closeness is dangerous. I'll leave before I get left. Here's what's crucial. Your brain built these pathways before you could talk, before you could reason, before you could choose. And now, as an adult, those pathways are still there. They're like well-worn roads in a forest. Your brain will automatically take them because they're the fastest, most familiar route. When you meet someone who feels familiar, even if that familiar is chaotic, distant, or painful, your brain lights up. I know this. I know how to do this. This is safe. Not happy, not healthy, safe. because to your brain, predictable chaos is safer than unpredictable peace. You're not choosing the wrong people because you're broken. You're choosing familiar people because your brain is trying to protect you by staying in known territory. The reframe, removing shame. I need you to hear something that might be hard to believe right now. The part of you that keeps repeating these patterns is not your enemy. It's your protector. When you were small, those patterns kept you alive. If you learned to earn love, that was a survival strategy. If you learned to never need anyone, that was a survival strategy. If you learned to predict chaos so you could prepare for it, that was a survival strategy. That child, the one who learned those patterns, didn't know there was another way. They just needed to survive. And that child is still inside you, running the show, trying to protect you from the same dangers you faced decades ago. The problem isn't that you're drawn to familiar patterns. The problem is that your brain hasn't updated its map. You're still navigating adult relationships with a map that was drawn by a child who was just trying to survive. You're not broken. You're just working with an outdated navigation system, and outdated systems can be updated. The tool, the pattern map. So how do you actually update the map? Here's a tool I call the pattern map. It takes a few minutes, and it will change how you see your relationships. Step 1. Identify your signature pattern. Don't try to fix it, just name it. What's the pattern that keeps showing up? Do you chase unavailable people? Do you leave when things get real? Do you lose yourself trying to fix someone? Give it a name. I chase what won't choose me. I leave before I get left. I become small to keep the peace. Step 2. Trace it back. Close your eyes. When was the first time you felt this feeling? Not the first relationship, the first time. Before you were dating, before you were an adult. Who did you learn this pattern from? When did you learn that love had to be earned? When did you learn that closeness wasn't safe? Step 3. Separate then from now. Say this to yourself. This pattern helped me survive then. But I'm not there anymore. I'm an adult now. I can handle closeness. I can handle safety. I can handle being chosen. You're not trying to erase the pattern overnight. You're just creating enough separation to start choosing differently. The identity shift. Here's what happens when you do this work. You stop asking, why do I keep choosing the wrong people? And you start asking, what familiar feeling am I mistaking for love? You stop seeing yourself as someone who's bad at relationships, and you start seeing yourself as someone who is healing the relationship patterns that were wired into you before you could speak. You stop chasing chaos, and you start noticing that peace, real peace, doesn't feel boring. It just feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar is something you can learn to trust. So here's your invitation this week. Don't try to change everything. Don't try to find the right person. Don't judge yourself for the patterns you're still carrying. Just notice. When you feel that familiar pull towards someone who feels like home, even if home was chaos, pause and ask yourself, is this love or is this familiar? That one question is the beginning of a new map. You're not broken. You're just working with an old map, and maps can be redrawn. Thanks for being here. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one pattern you're ready to see differently? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video. For more life-changing therapeutic tips, kindly hit subscription button and notification bell.